we need to do it together. So please join your neighborhood watch program chat.
There you go, 852. Containing COVID. Yeah, you guys are lucky I'm staying home. Ooh. Let's switch gears a little bit here, and I want to get my friend Maria Pangelinan onto the show to talk about. There was supposed to be an election this Saturday. Good morning, Maria.
Hi, Maria.
Good day, Chris Barnett and Sarah.
I like the ring about that. Sarah Solis Metanani.
Sabrina
I
Solis.
can be Sarah if you want.
Who the hell is Sarah? Well, Miss Maria,
Sorry.
let's just
It's
rewind.
okay.
How was your Easter?
Very good, thank you. We were able to have a Zoom party with most of the family. Some of them were already asleep by the time we started.
Well, that's good.
This is Zoom with family off island and family here in Guam.
That's correct.
That's cute.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I guess on to official business now. So there was supposed to be a special election to fill the vacancy at the Jotnia Mayor's office for the Jotnia Mayor. What can you tell us about the status of that election, which was supposed to be this Saturday?
Well, the commission met, and they
I'm sorry, are you still there?
into
Well, hold on, Miss Maria. Can you just back up? Because I know you stay in the dead spot. So wherever you went a second ago, don't go there again.
Okay, so I'm staying still. The commission met and recommended by way of a resolution to the governor that the Jotnia special election for mayor be postponed until Saturday, May 30th.
Okay.
Have you guys got a response from the governor yet?
No, that just happened late last week, so we're waiting patiently for the response.
Right. So, Miss Maria, let me ask you, at this time, since you have not heard back from the governor, are you still moving forward with plans to hold this election, or, for all intents and purposes, are you guys kind of banking on that she's going to, make this happen and postpone it?
We're thinking that she would postpone it, and we're anxiously waiting for her response. In the meantime, I've talked to all 7 candidates and alerted them of what was going on.
Okay.
And then what about other elections? Because, there's a delegate election this year, the senatorial election, mayoral election. Where are we on that? And
There's also some deadlines, I think,
Right.
usually for financial reports, isn't it,
Yes.
in April?
Yes. So the deadline for personal financial disclosure for all public officials is April 22nd. But there's an easy fix for that, and all the public official has to do is email us and request for an extension. The law allows for an extension of 180 days.
That's usually October.
Yes. Sabrina, I think October 19th, maybe. I'm not so sure at this time. I don't have that information in front of me.
Okay, well, just for the elections that are coming up, then, are you having to push back any deadlines or?
Well, not the deadline, but more so the first day to file.
Right.
The first day for candidate filing was scheduled for April 21st. The commission has moved it now to May 6th. But they do have until June 30th to file.
Okay. Was June 30th the original deadline?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so people who are looking to run for public office, you still have some time.
I don't know who's thinking
wanna
about
run.
that, Miss Maria. Who are people still thinking about running for office?
I've been fielding calls. Excuse me, fielding calls and fielding calls also about nominating petitions.
Wow.
And so some of them seem like they finished collecting the number they want, and others are still in the process. At this time, there are no changes to the requirements of the candidate filing packet. we're going to try to help them out, the potential candidates, and find out if the offices where they have to obtain clearances are how they can obtain the clearances, or if they can at all during this time.
Mm-hmm. How many signatures do you need for this petition? What's the requirement? Because people probably can't go out and get those signatures.
So, and Sabrina, I think most of them, especially the seasoned ones, probably are, from our experience, are close to finish already if they're not finished.
Mm-hmm.
But for the delegate, they need a 500. For the senators, they need 250. And for most of the mayors and vice mayors, they need 100. But if they don't have that many registered voters, there are different requirements for the different smaller villages.
Ms. Maria, what about the federal? So I know you said delegate there. Is there a federal deadline for them to file? And do you know anything about, has that been moved?
No, they just follow with regard to the election and qualifying to be on the primary election ballot. They follow our timeline. So they would just whoever wants to run for congressional delegate for Guam, they would just have to file between May 6th and June 30th.
Okay.
Has there been any discussions with the legislature to change some of the requirements to file for candidacy, such as the 500 signatures that are required for a petition, things like that?
Well, yeah, Senator Joe San Augustin, our oversight, has called, and we've had conversations about what would go on with the elections. So, there is a bill that was introduced by Senator Kelly Marsh Titan, and I can't talk about it very much because I haven't even talked to Senator Joe San Augustin about that bill.
So it has been introduced?
It has been introduced, and I got word of it through another source because they were requesting our input into it, but I haven't heard from the legislature or communicated with the legislature about that specific bill.
Okay. And it is what to do in this COVID world?
I think so. I'm trying to pull it up now, but yes, it was introduced by Senator Kelly Marsh.
What's the title of it? What bill number, do you know?
Ooh.
I'm trying to
Gosh,
find it.
Chris, I think it's 3. If I'm not mistaken, it may be 330.
330.
Let me try to pull it up.
Oh, we got Bree over here too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you find it?
Yeah, I sure did.
Okay.
Permitting absentee voting in the event of an imminent or urgent threat resulting from a public health crisis or disease outbreak. Bill 330. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that that too, Senator Joe San Augustin and I discussed over the phone, but letting him know, okay, these are the if that's the will of the people, we'll work with it. Other parts of the law must change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks like it's mainly just on how people can vote, but not necessarily. Not necessarily like laxing up on the requirements for people that
That's
would
correct.
want to run.
Yes.
So that doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily address that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I know some states have taken the requirement off. The nominating petitions.
Right. Because as you said, it's the seasoned politicians that would, they've already got a majority of their signatures and are ready to go and ready to file. But for people that may not really care for some of these seasoned politicians and may want to see some new faces, some new people that might want to run, they won't necessarily be able to meet those requirements.
I like how you slipped that in there.
But Sabrina, it's when this is lifted, it may not be difficult for potential candidates to get them as well.
Yeah. I just didn't know if there was this effort to introduce legislation to just, let's keep all, or maybe not even legislation to change any of the requirements and just keep it status quo so that it's difficult for people that may want to run.
I could totally see where Sabrina's going with this because this legislature has shown an inclination to just do some really weird self-preserve. And so, yeah, I could see that, Bree. I could see them doing we can't have an election because you guys are going to be all at risk. So guess what? We're going to stay in office for another 2 years.
Well, that beyond my pay grade.
Yeah, I know, Miss Maria.
But Matanani or Sarah Matanani. is there a real Sarah Matanani out there?
You got a sister, Bree?
Oh my gosh.
How's your sister? All right, Miss Maria.
Well, thanks, Maria.
Yeah.
Hagmas.
Thank you for keeping still for 5 minutes.
If you see any other bills, though, let us know.
Yeah, give us a heads up.
We will.
Okay. Appreciate it. Miss Maria Pangelinan of the Guam Election Commission.
If you plan on running, you still have time. May 6th is the new filing. You can